everyone, and welcome to today's episode. If you sell on Amazon and worry about suspensions, this is for you. Stay tuned for expert tips how to protect your Amazon business and recover account fast. I am Lada Khazanov, co-owner of Talents Boutique, a recruiting agency that helps e-commerce businesses to find the best talents worldwide. And my guest today is Or Shamosh, the founder of ACA Compliance Group. His company helps Amazon sellers solve serious problems like account suspensions and block listings. They have already helped over the 3,500 sellers to get their businesses to the track. Today we will talk about how Or and his team help sellers, what mistakes sellers make, and how to protect your Amazon account from the risk. Welcome to our podcast. Please tell me a little bit about yourself and about your company and how you started ACA Compliance Group.
Hey, a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. So my name is Or Shamosh. I started as an Amazon seller at 2016, almost a decade ago. And like many others, I got suspended, unfortunately. And back then, there were not a lot of solutions. And I tried to look for people who can resolve issues and couldn't find any. So I decided to try by myself. And to my surprise, I got rejected. It didn't work. So I tried again and again and again until eventually I got reinstated. With time, I decided to shift towards providing this as a service. And so since then, dealt with around 4,000 successful cases. We provide appeal services, risk management, try to help people prevent issues, with the diligence, the migration itself for acquisitions. So we cover everything.
It's an interesting story because a lot of good services have the similar begin. So if you force there's some problem and you need to resolve it, so you go deeper and deeper in this problem, this situation, and after that you create something incredible like a service for other service providers or business owners. Yes, so
Definitely, this was built based on a need that I had, and then I saw that other people, friends from the community, the Amazon sales community, they also had these needs. And so first I was like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I will be able to help you, but sure, let's try. I don't think I will do any damage, hopefully. Obviously, I won't charge you anything back then, but let's try. And then I saw that it worked. So I saw that more and more and more people sadly have a need for that. So tried to do my best to help people.
yes, it's like a service created by seller for other sellers. It's like
Yeah,
my story, very, very similar.
yeah.
Could you tell me more about what types of suspensions do you see most often? Maybe some examples.
So it really depends on the time of the year. There is no one specific issues that come around at all times. Amazon operates like waves. This is how I usually present it. There is a wave of suspensions based on what Amazon decides to enforce. There was back in 2018, the most common suspension reason was used items sold as new. In 2019, it was pesticides. In 2020, it was the reviews manipulation. Today, I would say it's mostly about supplements and medical claim and compliant, being compliant with your product label and things like that. Everything is always enforced, but Amazon sometimes decide to put certain pressure points or to further focus on specific issues. It sometimes even depends on what the regulator wants them to. if it's the EPA with the pesticide or the FDA with the current labeling and supplements, or if it was the FTC with the reviews manipulation. So it really depends on what the regulator wants, or some lawsuits that forces Amazon to act, or maybe pressure from the media that says, oh, Amazon, everything in Amazon has manipulated reviews. So Amazon would want to start showing they are doing something in that direction. And based on that, they will start enforcing more specific things.
Mm-hmm. As in, if I understand correctly, there sometimes the reasons of restrictions is mistakes of sellers.
Mhm.
So could you tell about mistakes? What are the most common seller mistakes that lead to the suspensions account, to restrictions?
Sure. So basically, we categorize the suspension into three things. There are the legal issues, the regulatory issues, and the policy issues. The legal issues would be trademarks, patents, copyrights, and things like that. Regulatory would be, as I discussed, the EPA, FDA, if you're selling non-compliant supplements with incorrect labeling, things like that. The claims you're making, and the policy-wise, Amazon policies would be how you write your title, how you present your main image. So these are so-called made-up rules that have some sense behind them, but they are mainly how you should act within Amazon's own platform, how you build your variations, and so on. The most common mistake that I see are people that it really depends on what type of product you are selling, but the main thing that I see that is shared between all of them is people's lack of knowledge on how they should operate. Now, sure, there are so many rules, so many things you need to know, so many things that are not clear, and Amazon does not set proper expectations on what is permitted, what is prohibited, how you should act, and so on. I agree with that. But something that I see that is shared even with very big sellers, I would say even that those that are nearing nine figures a year, most of our clients are seven and eight figure sellers, and I see that all across. Even for the smaller brands, for the larger brands, they don't have sufficient knowledge on their products regulations. So if we shift away towards multiple unknowns and multiple things that seller sellers that Amazon is vague about and is not clear about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about knowing what your product is, knowing what your regulator says the product is, knowing how you can promote it, how you can promote it. And it's not only the risk products, again, supplements, it can be really anything that you are selling. It is regulated. Every product that you are selling has some regulation behind it. So my tip is for you to know the regulation behind your product. And again, not the complex, vague, unclear Amazon stuff, not that, the regulation, because behind it, there are a lot of potential issues that you can face. So, and I saw it even with big sellers selling, he sold $80 million a year and came suspended to us 100 employees, 95 employees suspended. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? How could you get to that levels of volume of revenue and you not know the regulation, the simple compliance stuff behind your product? So this is what I would suggest to start with. Even if you're just a starting seller, Google it, ChatGPT it, I don't care. Research about your product's regulation, because behind it, there are a lot of potential issues you should be aware of and avoid.
Mhm. So let me summarize. The key step to avoid suspension is to know rules and to check every rule in Google, in Amazon, or you can add something else. some
Yes,
odd
definitely.
case.
Definitely. And again, not
Mm-hmm.
talking about the vague, unclear Amazon policies that I don't expect people to read it and exactly know what is permitted and what is not, because even we don't know in some cases that is completely not clear. I'm talking about the usual, just Google it. If you're selling a water bottle, water bottle regulations. Simple as that. How to sell water bottles. What do I need to know before I start selling water bottles? Just do it. And I see so many sellers that are not doing it and are relying on their supplier to tell them.
Mm-hmm. It's so simple steps, and it's interesting why business owners don't do this because
Yeah,
it's not,
because
not.
they rely on their supplier, or they don't even
Mhm.
know or understand that they need it. Like I always give this example. If you're going to open a physical store, I didn't came across anyone who didn't know all the type of approvals from the city that they need, from the fire department, from so many different departments. It's a mess, but eventually they do know and they do obtain all approvals, because in some cases they technically cannot open the store, the physical store, before they have all the approvals. So then they know what to do. But in Amazon, when they allow you to list almost anything, and only when issues come, they ask for approvals. So that's the other way around. And then people don't necessarily check. So I do advise to check because it's very easy. You don't need to pay anyone. Don't need to hire someone. If it's complex product, sure, okay. But for most of the products, just Google it. What do I need to know before starting to sell a screen I don't know what, water bottles, computer mouse, whatever it will be. Yeah.
Mhm. So, as I know, your company also helps with prevention. So, if business owner doesn't want to Google rules, he can come to you and you do it instead, or your company do something else. Or
Definitely. So we can research and give you this report on the three levels that we talked about, the legal issues, the regulatory issues, and the Amazon issues. So you come to us with everything you have, your product, packaging, label, documents, listing, images, everything that you got. And we will check if you are compliant or not on these three categories. Now, obviously, it's not bulletproof. Everything can change, but it will help you, give you some assurance that you are covered on that field.
Mhm. So, on what step do you recommend to come to check account and possibility to be to be restricted?
So it really depends on the volume that you are selling on, because the service isn't really needed for most sellers. Account wise, it's only relevant for, let's say, people who are starting to near the seven figures. It's not that the service is expensive, it's actually relatively cheap, but it's usually not needed because you don't have complex issues yet. If you do want to launch new products, so even if you're a completely new seller, I think you should check your product again, not necessarily with us. You can do it yourself. But if you want like a professionally written report to make sure that you are completely covered on all aspects, so then yeah, you can definitely contact us. And it's better if you're just now starting to sell the products, because then you can tell that you are starting from scratch in a compliant way.
Thank you. And my next question is, how does your team usually manage the reinstatement process? Could you describe?
Mm. So every case is very unique. We dealt with, as I said, about almost 4,000 cases, and all, I don't think I saw an identical case. And that's crazy to say, but honestly, there was almost never an identical case. So what we do is we start by a deep research of the case, of the situation. That's even before you start working with us. We start by researching and understanding what is going on, what you got suspended for, what's the underlying issue. Once we understand it, we start to strategize our approach. And it can be, let's say, for example, you got a customer who complained that the product is defective and you got suspended, your listing got suspended due to condition complaints, condition concerns, defective. Maybe the customer didn't know how to use the product correctly, and this is why he thought it's defective. So then the underlying issue would be how the user instructions, for example, or the listing, how you present your product. And so that would be the corrective actions. If it's, for example, the same defective concern would be with an actual defect of the product, so let's go to the supplier and find out with him what's the underlying issue. If it's something that got damaged on the way, the packaging. If it left the factory damage, inspection, quality control. So it really depends on the underlying issue that we tried with the client to understand. So it's not like we investigate, see the customer concern, and make up different things. No, we really need to deep dive into understanding what stands behind the customer complaint or Amazon's complaint and so on. We investigate with the client, with Amazon, with the customer in some cases. Based on it, we try to understand the underlying issue. As I said, the packaging, the quality control, inspection, actual defects, user instructions, things like that. And then we help the client correct and prevent it for the future. So based on it, we develop our strategy for the appeal itself. This is why also it is so rare for it to be identical cases, because even if people are arriving to us with the same product, what are the chances that the complaint is similar and the underlying issue is similar? Very low. So we research, we develop a strategy, we help the client implement and correct and prevent these issues, and based on it, we write down the appeal, the dispute, the plan of action, the SOPs, whatever it might be required.
Mhm. I found information that your success rate is 98%. Is it right?
Yes,
It-
a
it's
lot of people.
amazing.
It sounds at first like no idea, no way. Everybody says that. So the company that I founded got sold, and when it got sold, we had to do a due diligence, like many other people whose companies are getting sold. So during that due diligence, I said to them, okay, 96 percentages. And so during the due diligence, they vetted all our past clients, and we figured out it was actually 98 percentages. So better than I estimated. So it was vetted, thankfully. So yeah, we managed to resolve a lot of issues because of this very good process that we've built over the years. We don't guess. We build it, we strategize it.
Mhm. But what makes your approach so effective? What is your secret?
We there is no secret. It's very important to understand there are no like magic solutions. You need to be Amazon is frustrating to deal with. They are horrible to deal with. Everybody knows that. It's a process, and you can't give up on the process, because okay, you will submit an appeal, it will get rejected. You need to shift the narrative. You need to call them. You need to call them again and again and again, and stick with that. You need to understand exactly what went wrong, what is missing, and so on. The main issue that we don't, even for legal cases or regulatory cases, we don't come to Amazon and tell them, look, the law or the regulation says that and that, therefore you are wrong and I need to be reinstated. No. Amazon are not legal professionals. are not regulatory professionals. We deal with it Amazon-wise. We deal with it per their policies. Even the escalation teams, they are not legal experts. So we just actually had a case of a design patent. That's a legal issue. Most will deal with it through a lawyer and submit a letter of non-infringement and deal with it legally. We do it also, by the way, when it's needed. We have a lawyer in our team. So when it's needed, we do submit a legal document. But to begin with, no. We are not yet at a legal stage. We are at a policy stage. We are dealing with it as if there is an Amazon infringement, not a legal infringement. So everything we do to begin with, we try to shift the narrative from legal to Amazon, from regulatory to Amazon. And this way we find it's much faster and much easier to deal with because the people who is reviewing your appeal are not legal professionals, are not in some cases they are not professionals at all, but they do know somewhat about Amazon's guidelines. So we tend to speak with them in Amazon terms and not in legal terms. Like instead of there is no legal infringement, there is no Amazon infringement.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. By the way, earlier you said about due diligence. So why is due diligence so important when you buying or selling business accounts?
I will give you two examples about that from clients that we had. I think it will make it easier to understand why it's so important. On one case, the client who came to us, so basically there is a lot of opportunities with acquiring accounts. Instead of building it from zero, you can go ahead and acquire an existing brand who is well funded. In my company, I also have an Amazon aggregator, so we acquired 7 brands to date. So I'm also well familiar with that process. So I will give you two examples from clients. In one case, the client came to us and we made a due diligence and we saw that there was no PPC, no advertising whatsoever. It was almost a 7-figure seller. He sold, I think, somewhat around $5 million a year with no PPC at all. And his the whole P&L that he built and the growth expectations were based on it. And when we did the due diligence, we were like, why there is no PPC? What's going on? And he told me that the products are restricted from advertising. No, they weren't. There was a technical restriction, sure, but it was appealable. So the seller bought the buyer actually bought from the seller an amazing opportunity because he bought something on a certain multiplier that didn't have PPC whatsoever, and he knew that he could advertise it. And with advertising, if we are successfully appealing on it, which we did, he could grow the business significantly higher. So this is an important factor of due diligence to identify points that are not managed correctly in the acquired business to understand that based on it, you can grow it. So it can be lack of PPC or bad PPC. Maybe he's overpaying the suppliers. Maybe he's not managing the variations correctly or the listing and so on. Things like that that are potential bad factors or bad things or incorrectly managed things in the acquired business that if he will answer them, the business will grow. So that's one thing. On the other side, it can be significant risk factor. We had a seller of $30 million business who was selling apparel t-shirts. And the t-shirts, every t-shirt has like a label behind it with the fabric composition, care instructions, and things like that. The fabric said 100% cotton. It was not 100% cotton. It was 70% and 30% polyester. Now, eventually, he came to us after he got suspended, and I told him, look, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. I cannot get you reinstated. To get reinstated, you need to present test reports. Those test reports cost something like $300. So we did them, and it showed up that Amazon is correct. Amazon made like a random test and showed that he says it's 100% cotton, but their lab says it's 70%. That's a manipulation. That's a very severe, even legal infringement. And in that case, what can we do? Amazon is correct. So unfortunately, we didn't even take the case. We had no opportunity to get him reinstated, but he purchased a $30 million business. And he didn't know this very simple thing. Obviously, afterwards, he went to a lawsuit with the original seller, but he lost. Why? Because he didn't make a due diligence. If he would have made a due diligence, I would have told him, go ahead, take a few samples, test the products, take a look if it's actually 100% cotton, um, and then make a decision. It also applies to electronic devices. Go ahead and see if the product complies with all regulatory needs. Food, supplements, make a COA, certificate of analysis. Check that the formulation actually matches what it says. You say that it has vitamin C. The COA shows that it doesn't have vitamin C. That's a manipulation. So it's very important to be careful about what you acquire and to make sure that everything is as exactly as it as described, so you will know your risks.
Mhm. And what are some typical problems come to you besides suspensions?
So most of the issues that we deal with are actually those suspensions. We don't really deal with the day-to-day, with the technical issues, mostly with suspensions, but we do try to help people prevent issues. We usually never even charge for that because it's usually take us 2 minutes to answer, hey, is this insert card prohibited? Hey, I want to send this message to a customer, is that okay? Hey, I want to use this service, is that permitted? So I welcome everybody who's watching. Feel free to ask me anything you might need. If it is a very straightforward answer, I will be happy to answer you.
Mhm. And what advice you can give to sellers to protect their businesses for long term?
Know what you are doing. It's a business. It's not an Amazon account. It's a business. Know what you are selling. Okay, Amazon, you're selling on Amazon. Now Amazon's guidelines, yeah, some of it are easy to understand. They have videos, they have manuals. It's these days it's quite easier than before. It's not like the long legal terms of service, business solution agreement in legal language. No, it's very easy. They made animated videos to explain a lot of things. So go ahead and watch them. Go to Seller University, spend a few hours and learn about Amazon's guidelines. Why not? You are operating a business. You can reduce your risk significantly if you will spend those few hours. So do it. Then understand about your product, the regulations. Google it, ChatGPT it. Again, I love these days AI tools are doing great job. I'm sure they will do much better in the future, but they can help you with 70% of what you need to research on your own. Let's see what will happen in a day, a week, a month. It will be 80%. But today we are in the end of March. It's about, in my estimation, 70% of what I catch, at least, of what you need to do. So research about the platform, research about local laws, research about local regulations. If you expand to Europe, research about the same regulations in Europe, they are completely different. Remember that you are operating a business. If you want to take risks, take risks, no problem at all. Just know what issues you might be facing down the line and if they are resolvable. As I said, don't say it's 100% cotton if it's not, because this is not resolvable. But if you want to say it's to present your main image in a certain way, okay, what's the worst case? Amazon will remove that main image. So that is relatively okay. Know what risks you are taking so you can decide if you want to take them.
Or thank you for sharing this useful information. Where our
With pleasure.
listeners can find more details and how to connect with you, to send questions maybe, or to book a consultation with you.
Sure. So you can just Google my name, Or Shamosh. I'm sure you will find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, my website, and I can also share my screen, I think, and I will show you how you can reach out. Let me do it quickly.
Um,
Um, I need you to approve the sharing screen,
yes.
please.
Second. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I think
And
we can also share your details in description for this video with
wonderful.
and yes, you.
Wonderful. So you can scan the QR code, use LinkedIn or Facebook to search for me, Google me. That's my personal email, not the company's email. That's my personal email. If anyone wants, please do feel free to contact. And you can also share that on the podcast details, please.
Okay, thank you. And I have a couple of questions,
Sure.
not about business, more individual questions about you.
Mhm.
Before we end this video, so
Sure.
my question is, what is the one place in the world that inspired you the most?
I love to travel. Every 2 or 3 months, I take like I go to a work travel vacation because I need to work simultaneously. So every 2 or 3 months, I go for a week and I travel. I think that it helps me think of the next steps of what I want to build and do, and it helps like calm the stress.
Mm-hmm. So so traveling helps you to combine like work and life balance or
Yeah,
something else.
definitely. Yeah, so it's work around the clock, and then 1 week of work and travel. Usually, if I go to a conference or something like that, I do it simultaneously to try to balance everything.
Mm-hmm. And what daily habits helps you to succeed in your business?
Usually I start with um, a walk around the park. I have a small park beneath my house. So with my daily coffee, dose of caffeine, and the walk in the park, and just talking to people, getting inspired from others who are operating their business. It can be the sellers themselves or other people and agencies and business owners.
If not Amazon, what other industry would you build your business in?
Hmm. Uh, an interesting question. Before that, I think it would be software engineer, maybe. Compliance is boring. I will be honest. Compliance is very boring for me. It's very interesting. It's very important, especially for Amazon sellers. But it's not something that I can say, okay, let's do it. With Amazon, it's interesting because of Amazon's process and complexities. Yeah, but I think I would go somewhere between maybe even investments. I do also like that field. Also,
Maybe in the future.
yeah.
And my last question is, if you could compare working with Amazon accounts to movie or book, maybe, which one would it be?
That's a that's an interesting question. Let's think of a bad movie, a scary movie that no one understands. Nothing comes to my mind, but think of a movie that you didn't understand what's going on. It ended up with like, what did I just see? What happened? Think of a movie like that. This is Amazon, definitely.
Definitely. I think our audience will be agree with you 100%.
And
Uh,
I'm saying that as an eight-figure seller with 9 years of experience in Amazon account statements. It's rare to understand Amazon. You are not alone.
Or thank you again for joining today, for that you share this information with us. And I hope to see you in the next podcast with me. And for those who watch now, and if you need to hire people to your company, you need employees, so you can message me to email that you see on your screen, or to click link that you can find below description, and to book a free consultation with us about hiring people and building the team. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and share with your friend this episode. Or Shamosh was with us today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye-bye.
And for those of you watching, if you need help finding the right people for your e-commerce businesses, I'd happy to support you. Just send me an email that you see on your screen, or you can book a free consultation using the link in the video description. Thanks for watching, and if you find this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. Bye bye.